morning, everybody. We celebrate this and observe certain, functions and some speeches every year, and then the rest of the 365 days, we probably put it at the back of the mind, not really thinking too much about women's health or even their social status. But here, I would like to emphasize one thing. We have to give due amount of thinking about it, social change, everything in the society is required to make sure that we do not have killing of unborn girl child. Yes, I'm talking of female feticide. To make sure that there is no gender discrimination in the nutrition of the son and daughter. Yes, it does happen even now. And whether health seeking behavior, whether of, again, the gender bias in that, whether we are talking of the male or the female, that should not be different. But then that's an idealistic dream when we talk about it, that each and every person will be aware and will be educated enough, liberal enough to think that women have an equal status in the society. It is not going to happen very soon. By the kind of reports I see on news every day, I don't think we are reaching that as a society, that point where we can say there is gender equality in men and women. Women nutrition is very important because she is the person who will be bearing a child in her reproductive age group in the next few years. So as a girl child, if there is any discrimination being done when in the household, and say the brother is being given better food, more amount of milk, then obviously there is going to be calcium deficiency, iron deficiency, and that is why all our studies are showing that almost 80% of women in India are suffering from anemia, which is low hemoglobin, so low oxygen carrying capacity. That complicates almost all of our pregnant women. Then we were talking about health seeking behavior, which means unless and until we inculcate right from the beginning that there is a problem, you must go to the hospital or seek out the advice of a doctor, the women are being ignored. The girl child is also being ignored. There are so many studies which have shown that if there is a cough or respiratory problem for both a son and a daughter, the son will be taken earlier than the daughter to seek help in a hospital, which is very unfortunate. So, good nutritious diet with plenty of iron-rich foods, calcium from either milk or small fish with bones. We know if you chew them, you are also getting calcium. And when they reach puberty, that time, adequate advice about how to use clean, good menstrual hygiene to be maintained, how once they start menstruation, what are the problems that can happen, whether it is a regular period or whether it is delayed or whether painful. For some it is very painful and they in fact avoid going to school or college at that time. So help to be taken at that time. At that point of time, the mothers should be aware enough to take the daughters. Probably less amount of these neglect is seen in urban areas, but village areas, rural areas, much more awareness needs to be generated, especially about menstrual hygiene. Now, whether during adolescent period, whether they are growing fast enough, whether adequate amount of growth is there or not, sometimes there is early marriage. So teenage marriages to be, obviously we have to discourage. We have to absolutely discourage, but we still find some teenage pregnancies. So once you are already pregnant, how to deal with it? Whether they want to carry the pregnancy or whether they want an abortion. Safe abortion being available as a choice to the woman. That is very important. Among other things, Routine checkups, probably I cannot emphasize how much important it is when we are talking of, say, reproductive age group women. When they are married, they've had children, so they have to go for routine checkups, which they avoid. They're running after their children and maintaining their house and the family, and they forget about the routine checkups, which includes pap smear. Pap smear is a very small test, but it will catch up any kind of dysplasia or pre-malignant lesions in the cervix in a major killer like cervical cancer in our country. And of course the vaccine. Nowadays a vaccine for human papilloma virus, HPV virus, that is available. So why not? We should be advocating that. Unfortunately, it's still in the private sector it is available, means it is not part of the national immunization program, whereas many countries have made it a part of their national immunization schedule. However, because it's slightly costly, not very, but yes, it is costing something to the woman to buy it. However, it is very successful if given in the early teenage group. So, vaccination against cervical cancer should be promoted. These few things, if we take care, I think our women will be much better off. Thank you.